Hi, folks. Welcome to Chapter 2 of Finance 605, Pension and Benefits Administration. This is Dr. Miller presenting a brief live chat covering Chapter 2, the Psychology and Economics of Employee Benefits. Our learning objectives today in this 7-part chapter include the employment relationship as an exchange relationship and the psychology behind why firms provide employee benefits, employee benefits as part of the psychological contract, and how some employee expectations about benefits might be formed, how violations by the organization of employees' expectations can lead to perceptions of injustice. Going on, our learning objectives include why insurance is less costly for larger groups, and the economic rationales for employers to offer a mixture of cash and benefits in a compensation package. We'll touch on the psychology of employee benefits, basically from the value placed in these benefits by the employee. We look at the employment relationship, number 3, as a social exchange. Social exchange may be defined as all social behavior as an exchange of activity, work effort, for example, such as visible performance or motivation and commitment. The social exchange in the employer-employee relationship is one in which the employer offers inducements, such as wages, employee benefits, in return for employee contributions, performance, and commitment. So how do employee benefits constitute social exchange? For companies, employee benefits not only offer cost advantages and tax incentives, but also act as a recruitment tool for attracting and retaining desired employees. The employment relationship can be said to constitute both economic exchange and social exchange. If an employer can provide an employee with benefits suitable to an employee's evolving needs, it is thought the employee is likely to reciprocate with increased work effort and commitment. Thus, employee benefits are an especially relevant component of the social exchange between the employer and employee. I find the social exchange notion to be very fascinating. More about the employment relationship as social exchange. The workforce changes in the employment relationship. Jobs are no longer characterized by the traditional job security, strong loyalty to the organization, or the patriarchal role of the organization in the life of the employee. Instead, work arrangements and careers have become more flexible. Apart from economic and market challenges, the workforce in the U.S. and other developed countries is becoming increasingly diverse. Psychological contracts, an overview of the 4th aspect of psychology and economics of employee benefits. Psychological contracts. A psychological contract has been defined as an employee's subjective perceptions of the relationship of mutual obligations with the employer or company. Employee benefits can be part of the psychological contract that employees hold about the employer's obligations to them in exchange for their work efforts. Very interesting psychological constructs. Psychological contracts result in employees holding a range or continuum of expectations from the employer, ranging from pay and promotions to career development and family welfare. The continuum of expectations that employees hold from an employer can be seen as ranging between 2 ends: transactional psychological contracts and relational psychological contracts. Employee benefits practices can be seen to fulfill both transactional and relational expectations of employees, such as health insurance and other legally required benefits, employee benefits such as paid time off and accommodation and enhancement of employee benefits. Retirement plans is also a great example of employee benefits that fulfill both the transactional and relational expectations. In terms of psychological contracts, Most psychological contracts take shape in the pre-employment phase, when people seek information during recruitment and selection. Employees might seek information about both transactional and relational expectations from their potential employer. This is important to flesh out in the interview process. Ultimately, what an employee learns about employer benefit practices will form a part of the employee's expectations from this exchange relationship along the transactional relational continuum. By their very nature, psychological contracts are flexible in nature and undergo constant change based on the interactions employees have with the company and other employees. We touch on the psychological contract violation, item C under this aspect, as a violation of the psychological contract occurs when an employee perceives a discrepancy between the promises made by the employer and the actual fulfillment of the promises. We hear a lot about that. An unfulfilled employee expectation is an upset. If a company withdraws or changes certain benefits, and those practices constituted an employee's psychological expectations from the company, then the employee will feel that the contract has been violated. As I said previously, violations of psychological contracts are different from unmet expectations. The responses to the violation of psychological contracts are likely to be more intense. Violations of employees' expectations by the employer can cause feelings of betrayal and loss of trust. And the last aspect of employee benefits as constituting a psychological contract. If employee benefits are part of an employee's psychological contract, then it is important for employers to ensure that employee expectations about benefits are clearly articulated and flexible. Violations can be avoided by clear communication and education about the nature and scope of the employee benefits practices offered by the company. Just as employees have expectations from the employer is also likely to have expectations from the employee. If the organization feels that the employee performance is not what is expected, it can decide to withhold certain employee benefits, especially discretionary benefits. Employee benefits have, over the years, become a growing source of employees' psychological contract violations. The economics of employee benefits, item 5, vary by the family, the need, the life cycle, the age of the employees. We ask why in item 6, why employers offer benefits. The primary reasons, there are numerous reasons, 5 categories of reasons why employers offer benefits. The primary reasons, one is the cost advantage for the employer. It helps in recruiting certain types of workers, and employee benefits offer certain tax advantages. There are also cost advantages to offering employee benefits. Benefits like health insurance are cheaper for the employer to purchase for a group than employees can purchase individually. Also, the larger the group, the less likelihood of adverse selection, the law of large numbers. This is a condition where the insurance pool attracts only high-risk individuals. The notion of adverse selection requires that all employees participate in the insurance pool. It is used as a justification, for example, for government-provided insurance programs like Social Security, Medicare, and workers' compensation. Recruiting certain types of workers, the larger the group, the less likelihood of adverse selection because there's more flow through the group. For example, recent undergraduates might be attracted to a tuition reimbursement benefit. Women, 20 to 40 years of age, might be interested in company-paid health insurance. Older workers also might be attracted to stronger retirement plans. The tax incentives of offering employee benefits evolve mainly from the Internal Revenue Code. The Internal Revenue Code allows companies to deduct some benefits as business expenses. The Internal Revenue Code does not tax some benefits as income to employees. Requirements to make the benefits attractive to the employees. Employers need to figure out the cash value that employees place on particular benefits. Employers need to promote and communicate the value of those benefits. Employees, on the other hand, must be willing to give up wages and salary to receive the benefits. So who pays for the benefits, the employer or the employee? Employees used to view benefits as free add-ons. The greatest portion of all employee benefits are paid by employees in the form of lower wages or salary and lower bonuses. Passing on the higher costs resulting in lower wages depends on the cash value that employees place in the benefits and the degree to which employers will increase or decrease their hiring when the market compensation level decreases or increases. Some reasons why health insurance costs, a very common topic today, why health insurance costs might rise. Employees often ask that. I ask the same thing. The rise in healthcare costs reflects a general improvement in medical care technology and healthcare quality, but also more expensive technology. Legal changes also allow doctors to unionize and thereby charge higher prices for the existing services they provide. Here. In summary, Chapter 2 discussed two important issues. First, the psychological basis of employee benefits were examined from the employee's perspective. Employee benefits practices can fulfill employees' transactional and relational expectations from the employer and employment exchange relationship. If employees view their employer benefits program as fair and meeting their expectations, then those employees will be satisfied and productive. Second, economics of employee benefits are examined from the perspective of the employer. So this section of the chapter explored why many employers offer a mixture of cash and benefits in compensation packages, and whether workers tend to pay for benefit cost increases in the form of lower cash wages. We'll discuss our discussion questions in this section. We'll discuss the concept of social exchange as it relates to the employment relationship. We'll also discuss how changes in the demographic composition of the U.S. workforce will affect the employment relationship from an employer's perspective. We'll also look at what possible impact these changes will have on employee benefits practices.